Hello, my fellow New Yorkers. I'm making this video today in order to get in your heads and make you realize what me and my fellow constituents have done. And you know what? For the most part, listen, I just did what I had to do because I want to stay in office. And you know what? I don't really feel too bad about this, but I know, to be honest, that I'm about to get kicked out on my ass if I don't do this, because you guys are finding out the truth. And the truth is that there are many cures out there. And we took advantage of you by using fear against you and graphs and everything. And I do feel like, you know what, if I don't do this, my political career is going to be over. And you know what I'm going to do is have a doctor, a brave doctor that came forward, and one of the ones that ruined this whole scamdemic. Because listen, I know and you know that people are dying, but you know what, all these facts and figures that that we keep putting on the screen, and we keep inflating the numbers. Why? Because we have to keep this going. And you know what, I'm tired, I really am. And I mean, honestly, I did this for my own gains, and I wanted my 15 minutes of fame, but you know what, they're up. The gig is up, and people are coming forward. So you know what, I'm going to share this one doctor with you from the state of Texas. And he can say it a lot better than me, and his patients are coming forward. And this is just a simple little treatment here that can blow this whole thing out of the water. So I'm going to come forward and be one of the first ones to admit that I lied to you and everyone. And you know what? People have come forward from the health department and doctors and nurses that, the numbers are inflated, very inflated. But you know what? It's over, okay? The scam is over. And, this is just a little bit worse than a regular flu. But you know what? Put all that aside. And right now, the most important thing is not to look at graphs, not to listen to even my future interviews, because, I'm being forced to continue this as much as possible. But this video right here, I'm putting out right now before it gets deleted. You need to look at this. You need to share it with everyone in your circle that you care about, because the scam is up. And there has been a cure, and even President Trump, we made fun of him repeatedly. But guess what? He was telling the truth about hydroxychloroquine and zinc. Okay? That's the truth. Alright, without further ado, please listen to this brave doctor and his patients, because nothing else that I can say to you is going to make a difference. So let me show you the proof. And, please remember this during election time. Thank you.
A Texas physician is touting a common asthma treatment as a possible drug treatment to coronavirus. One America's Amanda Brilhanty spoke with Dr. Richard Bartlett and has more.
And I'm not afraid of COVID-19 anymore. And you can tell your viewers, I'm telling your viewers right now, they don't have to be afraid of COVID-19 either. There's an answer.
What you just heard is Odessa, Texas Dr. Richard Bartlett, who claims he's found the silver bullet for coronavirus. He's suggesting a common asthma medicine and says it's so simple, you won't even have to leave your couch.
Preschoolers that have asthma, I'm talking about budesonide, a inhaled steroid that's used with a nebulizer machine. So it's used daily by millions of children in the United States to protect them from asthma. So I use that nebulizer treatment, a respiratory anti-inflammatory medicine for a respiratory inflammatory problem called COVID. And I also give an antibiotic to protect from secondary bacterial pneumonia called clarithromycin. And I also put a person on zinc, which interferes with virus multiplication, but the silver bullet is the inhaled steroid.
Dr. Bartlett said budesonide blocks inflammatory chemicals and is a, quote, perfect treatment. And he even gave OAN breaking news on their steroids' possible effectiveness in another Texas hospital.
And I haven't shared this anywhere else because I was driving here for this interview, and I just got word from a hospital administrator that a colleague of his told him that their hospital ICU was emptied when they started this budesonide protocol in the ICU. And so that was in Frio Regional Hospital, south of San Antonio.
The doctor called the hospital administrator, John Houston, and Chief of Staff, Oscar Garza, heroes after seeing his interview on America Can We Talk and trying the treatment themselves. Dr. Bartlett says patients have said chest pains, shortness of breath, and the cough stops. He claims he's had 0 deaths since using budesonide, and by avoiding hospitals, it's cheaper.
It costs $200 if you paid cash. The hospitals would be overwhelmed with COVID. Well, this is a treatment that keeps people from even going to the hospital. When they are treated before the hospital and they recover without ever going to the hospital, that should be beautiful news.
More than 25 million Americans have asthma, and budesonide can be used daily while decreasing the number and severity of asthma attacks.
The inflammatory chemicals that are released in COVID-19 would be interleukin 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 13, 15, SCF, GM-CSF, thromboxanes that cause increased clotting total body. Guess what inhaled budesonide blocks? Every one of those. It's a perfect match.
Oxford, Queensland, and Australia, NIH, France, and Spain are also exploring clinical trials of inhaled corticosteroids after Oxford found the drug has been shown to suppress coronavirus too. But Dr. Bartlett is asking others to consider this method.
I have the answer for it, and it's no longer a secret. It's not my proprietary secret. I want people to live and not die.
Continuing coverage tonight on a controversial COVID-19 treatment. The inhaled steroid budesonide is being hailed by West Texas Dr. Richard Bartlett as a silver bullet to treat COVID-19. Bethlehem Memorial Hospital isn't convinced, telling us yesterday there's no such thing as a silver bullet for the virus. But Bartlett's patients credit the treatment for saving their lives. Sammy still caught up with a few of those patients today. Sammy, what did they tell you?
Crystal, Dr. Bartlett says he's treated well over a dozen COVID patients and has had 100% success rate. He's even treated patients like the ones I talked to who have pre-existing conditions.
When it comes to COVID-19, Kathy Lawler and Eric Rodriguez are at risk.
I'm 48 years old, I'm diabetic. I'm a bit overweight.
I am in my 60s, which is already a strike against me. And I am living with 2 different types of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. In fact, I'm on daily chemo.
When they were diagnosed with the virus, they both thought worst case scenario.
Scared, desperate, fearful. I started thinking about my children without a father.
Rodriguez lost his 31-year-old brother to the virus in June.
He said he couldn't breathe very well.
And for that reason, he sought a different treatment than his brother. He started taking budesonide twice a day.
I think the difference is life and death right now. I feel fantastic.
As for Lawler, well, she believes it would have been a different outcome if it weren't for Dr. Bartlett's regimen.
And I fully believe that by the time they decided I was COVID positive, had I waited on treatment, I would have been in the hospital on a ventilator. Trying the budesonide, I could tell improvement. I could feel that something was changing. Wasn't miracle. It wasn't that I was all of a sudden healed. I could just feel improvement.
For more details on Dr. Bartlett's treatment, visit newswest9.com.